Hello everybody. I've got a book for you. It's a great book. I haven't read it yet, but I have read lots of reviews about it. It's called The 1,000-Year-Old Boy and it's by Ross Welford. Now, I have read another one of Ross Welford's books called Time Travelling with My Hamster. So I know what a good writer he is, and I loved every second of that last book. So I'm really looking forward to reading this with you. Now, I know that lots of you love reading. It's quite a big book, and perhaps you might want to get the book and then read along with me, or just listen. You can get rid of my face and just listen. But for content, it's really aimed at probably year 5s and 6s. Okay, and just to give you an idea, it's all set, well, that's difficult to say. It begins in the time of the Vikings, when Britain was being invaded by the Norsemen. So if you're interested in those sorts of things, maybe you'll love this book. If you're interested in time travel or science fiction, you'll love this book. And if you are interested in things like people having adventures, you're going to love this book. I know you will. So I'm just going to give you a little taster this morning. See what you think. Okay. It starts with a very short, what I would call a prologue, and it says that this prologue is called Alfie. Would you like to live forever? I'm afraid I cannot recommend it. I'm used to it now, and I do understand how special it is, only I want to stop now. I want to grow up, like you. This is my story. My name is Alf Einarsson. I am 1,000 years old. More, actually. Are we friends? In that case, just call me Alfie. Alfie Monk. Chapter 1. We sat on the low cliff, Mam and I, overlooking the river mouth, and watched the smoke from our village over the other side pluming into the sky and mixing with the clouds. Everyone calls the river the Tyne. Back then we pronounced it Teen, but it was just our word for river. As we sat, and Mam wept and cursed with fury, we heard screams from across the water. The smell of smoke from the burning wooden fort on the cliff top drifted towards us. People, our neighbours mostly, huddled on the opposite bank, but Dag the ferryman was not going to go back for them. Not now. He would be killed too. He had run away from us, stammering apologies as soon as his raft had touched the shore. Above the people cowering on the bank, the men who had come in boats appeared. They paused, arrogantly, fearlessly, then walked over to their prey, swords and axes at the ready. I saw some people entering the water to try to escape. They would not get far. A smaller boat waited mid-river to intercept them. I lowered my head and buried it in Mam's shawl, but she pulled it away and wiped her eyes. Her voice trembled with rage. Say, Alva, say! That's how we spoke then. Old Norse it is called now, or a dialect of it. We didn't call it anything. She meant, look at what they are doing to us. Those men who have come from the north in their boats. But I could not. Getting up, I walked in a kind of daze for some distance, but I could still hear the murder, still smell the smoke. I felt wretched for being alive. Behind me, Mam pulled the little wooden cart that was loaded with whatever stuff we'd managed to fit in onto Dag's river ferry. My cat, Biffa, walked beside us, darting into the grass on the side of the path in pursuit of a mouse or a grasshopper. Normally, this would make me smile, but I felt as empty as if I had been cut open. A mile or two on, Mam and I found a cave in a deep sheltered bay. The sun was strong enough to use the old fire glass that had belonged to Dar, a curved, polished crystal that focused the sunlight into a thin beam that would start a fire. I was scared the raiders would come after us, but Mam said they would not, and she was right. We had escaped. 3 days later, we saw their boats heading out to sea again, and I made the biggest mistake of my life. A mistake that I waited 1,000 years to put right. Chapter 2 will come up soon. See if you can get a copy of this. Ask your mum's Dad's scary.